and welcome to Two Indoor Gaming, and we are back with Life in the Village. This is Season 4, but also I'm going to recap sort of how to play for beginners. Lots changed since the last time I did that, as I did the playthrough, so I'm trying to pitch this for those who are coming in at the entry level, but also still be entertaining for my regular viewers and subscribers with my new playthrough. So it's not a total tutorial series, but I will be taking time to explain things a little more than I would on a normal playthrough. So without further ado, let's get started. I've got a couple of worlds I've been playing around with. This is my broken world. That was Season 3. I can't get into it unless I go back to 1.15, which I'm not willing to do. And this is my test world where I try things out before I put them on the YouTubes. So we want to create a new world. At this point, at 1.16, you cannot create any of these worlds. They just crash the system, so forget it. The idea is that you will be able to, at some point, just have a vanilla world or a Quark level world, but you'll have to go create OTG world. You get to choose between biome bundle, vanilla vistas. So, as you can see, vanilla vistas is just your vanilla biomes with improved terrain and biome placement, and that improved terrain means it's more gradiated, if that's a word. It's a smoother transition from heights to depths, so you don't have sudden mountains coming out of nowhere and big jumps and all that sort of thing. Whereas biome bundle is just, it's got heaps of stuff. It can be a little messy. It can feel a little messy, but there's lots of new environments to explore, and it definitely has dramatic jumps up and down. So we're going to go biome bundle and click continue. You've got a whole bunch of things you can play with. It's pretty much your standard stuff here. It's just in a different view setup, but I'm just going to go with basic stuff. You can get trickier than this, but I'm not going to. Now, the seed I put in for this, and this is something I tested, I wanted to have a world that was interesting, and when I was thinking of doing a how to play series, I tried this, HTTP LITV, how to play Life in the Village. But like I said, I'm not going to do that, not a full series like that. But that's my seed if you want to join in. It's quite an interesting seed. I haven't explored it too much, but enough to know that everything's like nearby for things that I want to talk about. So world name, put in something new. You can't overwrite your old saves like you used to do, and so we're going to put in Season 4. It's going to be the name for this one. So I'm going to skip ahead because you don't need to see my loading screen, plus it tends to mess up my recording, and yeah. Anyway, I'll see you in a moment. Okay, so here we are in world. This is a pretty good seed in that there's a vanilla village nearby. There's also a little witch village, which is very interesting. There's some dungeons around, so there's going to be things to explore. There won't be any Minecolonies villages because you have to create those yourself. And the millionaire villages, they're not seed specific or seed baked in. The way millionaire villages spawn is sort of, if the conditions are right, there's a chance that it will spawn in. And depending on the biome will dictate what kind of civilization. You wouldn't have an Inuit appearing here in a forest. It's sort of common sense, really. But on this seed, I played around with a little and had both Norman and Byzantine spawn in areas. I haven't explored too widely. I wanted to just check if there were things nearby. So, yeah, there's a chance that we'll be able to find a Byzantine or a Norman village, and that's good because you can't create the millionaire villages, not until you've actually played through a lot with an existing millionaire village, and then they can give you the capacity to create a village of the same kind. So that's a lot further into the game. So being close to a millionaire village is a really good place to be to set up your sort of permanent base. If you want to set a temporary base, though, you've got what you need already in your inventory, and that's there's a starting house. Blueprint. This is a really cool thing from the prefab mod, and you could even use this for your Techtopia village, because of course that's what vanilla villages become, but you can create your own from scratch. You don't have to use a vanilla village. But yeah, starting house, and you can place that down, and it comes with your basic starting stuff as well. Stone tools, leather armor, some torches, a bit of food, seeds, a little garden plot. You've got it all there to kick off with, even a mine shaft to help you get down into the lower levels and add some ores and things. So that's a very handy thing. You can use that as your temporary base and just whack it down straight away if you wanted to just shortcut to that. Or you could have it sort of as temporary base near where you're going to set up, and then later on sort of remove it or convert it to another use. You do have your quest book as well, and you can look at your quests. I've got that in my grave key. It should be your default, but it may have some conflicts. You might want to go in and check your control options. So you've got all your quests there, and that helps you follow along and direct some of what to do next and what to look at. And we'll look at this in more depth in a future episode, I think. But you've got it covers a lot of the major mods, Millionaire, Mine Colonies. You've got your better with stuff here. You've got some pinkly sheep special things and foods to get at, airship, which is fun, a little more Millionaire up here. Also, you've got repeatable quests for skeletons and zombies, which can help you get more cash, because of course the rewards tend to be cash, which will help you at the shop, and you can pick up some nice items to shortcut or just to fill in some gaps. Warp stones and waystones will be very helpful to get around. It costs you a couple of experience levels, but not a lot. And the waystones will naturally spawn in the vanilla villages. Remember, they are Techtopia villages. It co-ops them, but it still has all the generating aspects of a vanilla village, including a waystone. Also, you have your bounty board there, which is important for another quest as well. So you still have those elements in a vanilla village to help with that, but you can craft your own waystones and put them next to your base or whatever. So there's lots of things to play with. We've got the Techtopia guide. It really is not exhaustive at all. In fact, it's really just saying go and read the wiki. This is just telling you that there's a wiki. So yeah, you don't need that. Doggy charm, you place that down and you will summon a dog companion, a pet, and you can use a whistle to help it sit and stay. And there's other things to do with that. I won't summon that in because you do have to feed your doggy, and I don't have anything yet. I'm going to get rid of the Techtopia guide. This is very helpful. We have a little bin here, but if I just click on there, I'm just going to throw the book. You've actually got to hold down your shift key to open the bin. See, the lid comes off, and then click on the bin and away it goes. Because I've got my shortcut key and I'm happy with that, I'm going to get rid of my quest book as well. I'll just get that out of the way so I don't accidentally have that going. So you start off as usual, start punching wood, all that bizzo, just your regular things that happen. Now, like I said, this area is good for spawning villages. I don't really want to settle in until I've got a millionaire village, so I'm just going to jump ahead to that point, and then I can work out where I'm going to set my base. Okay, I'll probably get my starter tools and stuff. We'll see how we go. Okay, so I'll just see you in a moment. Okay, so here we are. We've found a Byzantine village. So I just travelled a bit west, and when I was testing, I had a village spawn here. I've also had a village spawn up here, millionaire village that is. Remember, they're not seed specific. It's just you've got a chance of them spawning if the conditions are correct. And this sort of territory is good for Byzantine and Norman. This is a Byzantine. Up here is a witch village. Over here is Techtopia village, or vanilla village if you prefer, and some points of interest along the way. So this is the Byzantine. So this is, I can now interact with this colony, but I don't really have anything to interact with them yet, but I get the idea. It's 6:30 about, they're all about to go to bed, and you notice this is an interesting little, I get this a lot when it's trying to, something to do with villages, Techtopia as well. I'm not sure what's going on with that. The good thing is they've got markers now with the latest version of Millionaire, so you'll know how far they'll build. They don't want you building in there, and it will actually tell you, if we look at the second page, that they'll try and avoid destroying your constructions, but they probably will anyway. So if you want a building in their village, you've got to buy a plot of land, and you can get it. Now, there are two things I neglected to do, which I'll quickly show you. Important one now, as night is falling, is I want to change my mini-map. If you press J, it brings up your map. Go down to Options, Minimap Preset 1, and click Show Mobs. This is going to be invaluable, especially now it's night time. Now my little map is showing me where the mobs are nearby, and that can be helpful. Let me see if I can make it bigger. Let's see, font scale size. Okay, I'll make it bigger so I can explain what I'm talking about here. Obviously this is not how I like it to be, confidently, but yeah, there's the map. On it are the red dots, that's obviously your mobs. If I was to put down animals, they'd show up as white dots. And with the red dots, if they're glowing red, it means they're pretty much on the same level as you. If they've got a little chevron that's pointing up or pointing down, then obviously they're higher or lower than you. So that's a little handy tip, and they're duller if they're not on your same level. So when you're running around during the day, you might see them pop up, but they'll often be below ground. I'm going to eat something in case I get accosted. The good thing is I'm not too stressed, because as soon as I find a nice spot to set up base, I can use that prefab home to get started. Now I have a millionaire village nearby. I know it's a reasonable place to slot myself in, and up north there I can see on my little mini map. I'm going to make that smaller again. I thought it would make the image bigger as well, but it just made the circle bigger. So maybe it's the font scale. Maybe increase that. No, that's labels and text. There. I'll just move it back, and we'll close that. That's probably too small. I'll deal with that later. So yeah, up north of me is plants. Well, be careful of the plants. There are a lot of plants that will hurt you. This one you'll see this in 1.14. They've obviously utilized this for the sweet berries, so this can be a nice little defense mechanism. But be careful of your flowers. The flowers are decorational and good for dyes, but the dungeon tactics flowers can have some very gnarly effects that you do not want to know about. Oh, hello, Mr. Skeleton. Let's run past you. Okay, good thing. This would be a good place for a starter home, but it is going to be a bit of a mob city, I think. There's the witch village over there on the right. We have a standalone millionaire house you can interact and trade with. Yeah, the Dungeon Tactics flowers, you'll have things like Fade Leaf, which will teleport you, sometimes underground. You will also have, which is a bit close. Oh, leave the horse alone. Yeah, you'll have a flower that lifts you up in the air. Then there's brambles, which is like thorns. Where do I want to set up my little starter home? Well, I might just put it over here while I'm getting myself sorted out. I will go with this ranch style, which is good. Oh, actually, I better be careful that I don't get ambushed. Yep. I like the ranch style, but you could go with your hobbit style tree. Goes a little underground. Desert styles are not going to fit this biome. Basic house is just a square. It's pretty boring. You can preview it. You can change. You can take some of the things out if you think it's too easy. Mineshaft, if you're not planning on being there long term and ripping it down, you might not want a shaft in the middle of nowhere. Yeah, it's all there. And you can change the glass color to whatever you like. And build. And boom, it takes out anything that's in the way for you. And you can pick that stuff up. Sometimes it can be handy drops. And there we go, we've got the blue lines again. You're going to want that food, and I'll explain why soon. So yeah, there we go. We now have a start home. Like I said, it's got a bed in it. So I can reset my spawn, which will be handy if I make a mistake. I can see through the night. Boom. So that's a handy thing. You don't have to stress too much in the first day about getting your basics. It's more about finding a good location, because as soon as you've got your starter house set up, look at that. I didn't have to do any punching trees or whatever. I can now suit up with the basics, and I've got some basic tools, food as well. I can put all that in and go for it. Now you notice here one of my items had a quality to it, so you will have quality items, and some of them are bad and some of them are good, and they can have good and bad effects. One of those quests is about where you can change the qualities on your items, which is handy. But for the moment, it looks like my tools. Oh, we've got a sharp stone hoe. Great. If I want to smack somebody with it. But the axe is pokey. Nomad failed to find a way to the village. Interesting. Why are we getting Techtopia messages about nomads when I haven't started a village? Is there one? Maybe there's another village over this way. I've not explored this side of the map, so maybe there is. The thing with your food is, you notice how one of my hearts is golden? Yeah, that when you eat 4 or 5 different foods, you get a bonus. Half a heart, generally. Let me get the message up here. There we go. I've gained a whole heart. Yes, that's right. It was 2, now it's 1. So you get 1 for every 5 items that are varied. If you die, that gets reset back to just your basic hearts. But you can build up basically another half of life through foods, eating varieties of foods. And if you point at them and hold down your shift, it'll tell you whether you've eaten something or not, whether it's going to give you that boost or not. Okay. So yeah, that'll do for this first episode. Day 1, really find yourself a good spot. Find a millionaire village. If you're using this seed, you will not likely get a village anywhere near the same spot. It could have been a lot sooner. You might have to explore even more. But this is good area for spawning a village in somewhere. So be persistent. You'll find a good spot to start, and then you can start working on building up to your own village. Alright, I'll catch you next episode. Thanks for watching.